All right, it's a debate that made news earlier this week, the actual number of homicides in Macon-Bibb County this year and the difference between a homicide and a murder. Sheriff David Davis says not all homicides are murders and that 42 of the 53 homicides so far this year are currently classified as murders. Ashlyn Webb joins us in studio to tell us more about the differences in terminology.
Yes, Sheriff David Davis says his office classifies those other 10 homicides as either involuntary manslaughter, justifiable homicides, or undetermined. Investigators concluded 6 of them were justifiable homicides. But what exactly is a justifiable homicide? Let's take a closer look and break down each of the 6. Sheriff Davis says his office defines a homicide as justifiable if the killing happened in self-defense or to defend another person.
It's those cases where another person is being threatened by serious bodily harm or death.
The first of 6 homicides Bibb investigators ruled as justifiable was the shooting death of Dominique Walker Jr. in March 2021. Deputies say it all started with a fight.
Yeah, we believe that Walker was one of the ones that began the shooting and someone was returning fire.
Then in June, deputies concluded Marquavius Wright was killed out of self-defense.
Marquavius Wright was a situation that he was going to be involved in a robbery, and the person who shot him was trying to defend themselves from being robbed.
Davis says Wright, along with 17-year-old Travis Gilbert and 14-year-old Shamar Smith, attempted to rob that person. That's why even though investigators don't believe Gilbert and Smith pulled the trigger, they still face murder charges in the case. Other homicides deemed justified by investigators include Antraz Burkett. Deputies say he attacked a woman with a hammer, hitting her in the face and head several times. Then the woman's husband shot and killed Burkett. And investigators say 31-year-old Anthony Burke busted a window and kicked in the front door of his ex-girlfriend's home. A man inside that home shot and killed Burke. And then to a double shooting in October. Investigators ruled Aquinas Howard's death a murder, but Jeremy Beebe's as justifiable.
And we have reason to believe that Mr. Beebe was one of the ones that had been doing the shooting originally, and then there was return fire that struck him.
And lastly, investigators say the homicide of Jarvis Ottman in this parking lot in November was self-defense.
Mr. Ottman had come up and blocked the car in and was coming to it in a threatening manner, and the driver was not sure as to what way was going to happen.
Davis says the driver shot to protect himself and passengers in the car, including children. Aside from the 6 homicides ruled justifiable, investigators classified 3 as involuntary manslaughter. That includes the shooting death of 8-year-old Miracle Brantley. Deputies say someone accidentally shot in her grandmother's kitchen while kids were playing with a gun. Then 4-year-old Cameron Ross, deputies say he found a gun in an apartment and it went off. And lastly, Larry Liggins. Deputies say a man punched Liggins at a Macon bar and Liggins fell and hit his head on a wood column. He later died. Davis says in each of these cases there was enough evidence to rule the deaths unintentional because of either reckless conduct or negligence. Frank, back to you.
All right, thank you, Ashlyn. The sheriff says the one homicide still labeled as undetermined is the shooting death of Quintavious Moore at the Macon Mall. The sheriff and DA's office are still talking about whether there will be an arrest made in that case.